Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And Hardcore Dave.
And this is Champs vs. Stars 2, Episode 8 recap. When loyalty is spot on. That is in reference to Booby's decision, perhaps?
Is it? Okay.
A little.
I never really thought about what it stood for.
Yeah, okay. But it could also be like...
It could be at the end when there's some eliminations going on.
Right. But let's get into it chronologically. I haven't done this chronologically in a while. I've been kind of scattering, I'll just talk about random players and everything that they're involved in. Let's do this.
Oh, you've been breaking up the formula. Trying something new.
Yeah.
All right.
But now it's time to return to the old
back
ways.
to the roots.
The roots, yeah. So previously it was all about Booby's decision, right?
Yep. Booby and Wes, the team, because we've had a couple of other pairings of Champs and Stars where they're split and they can't decide. And then Miz would draw a token out of a hat and decide which one of the people gets to decide what team they're going to try and vote in.
Yeah, but instead of going to a split decision or a tiebreaker or whatever, Booby just says, we're going to put in Jose and Salida. Tying it up with CT and Tony. 3 votes each, right?
Yep.
So now it's Kayla is the tiebreaker because she won the previous elimination. And, of course, she votes in Jose and Salida. Now, Jose and Salida, they're going to go against Casper and Louise. But in my heart of hearts, I was like, I would have put in CT and Tony. Right? Why do you disagree? Do you because
it does kind of make sense.
Wes wants to not put in CT and Tony because he's thinking politically, well, they're not going to have my back anymore. We're supposed to be in an alliance together, and I will be participating in future challenges. Not you, Booby, although Louise returned, so maybe Booby can as well. But still, there's no long-term effects, negative effects for Booby, But he still puts in Salida and Jose.
But it kind of makes sense when he said that it's kind of you want to get rid of, who are the weakest people on the Stars? It's Jose and Salida. So to get rid of them, it might be beneficial to get rid of some of the worst people on that team. Because basically, for Booby and Wes, their long-term goal should be just winning a final.
Yes.
So that kind of works against it because you're like, well, maybe you want to get rid of Luis and Casper. So, it goes both ways. It's kind of hard to say which one is the best. I don't know. I'm still kind of torn on it because I see both sides of it.
I think no matter what, CT and Tony are probably the biggest threats.
See, I don't
in the final.
I don't see them as a threat at all in the final. I think they're guaranteed to lose. They're big and they're slow. We've seen CT be slow in finals before. We've seen Tony last year in Vendettas be slow as hell. They're both very slow. And Booby and Wes are going to be way faster. So I think they want, hey, they're part of our alliance. They will kind of help us in the next week to make sure we don't have to go into elimination, most likely. We want CT and Tony around because we can take care of them in a final.
That is crazy. I didn't think about that. That would make sense, though, if the finals were in the Himalayas, somewhere up high with altitude and shit like that, and CT will be dragged down and probably Tony. But remember, these are the mini-series finals where they're way smaller, way more compact, and CT and Tony, they don't have to worry about endurance in the final. I really don't think so. I don't think there's
in the first season that was a longer one.
There was running in the first season, that's for sure. But they've abandoned it the second one.
The second season they didn't. So, and you never know in the challenge how are they going to switch things up.
I still would have rather put in CT and Tony. Wes politically saved his ass for future challenges. But for the here and now, he could have said no. Realistically, how are we going to beat those two?
And I think another reason that he's doing it is the fact that if he is still a star and he wants to be in a, kind of work with not Jose, but Casper and Luis and Drake, if he wants to work with them, I lost my train of thought there. It's probably beneficial for him to make sure they come back. So him sending in, even though he's sending in other stars and Jose and Salida, he's basically guaranteeing that Casper and Luis are going to come back.
Yes. Yeah.
He's helping them.
Yeah, Casper says is like in Booby's mind, he's helping us, And I thought that was a nice, almost a double, what was that, backhand comment or something like that?
Compliment,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And, but then again, I like Casper, and Casper doesn't sugarcoat anything. Even though he's talking shit about Booby, and I love Booby, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, Casper, there you go.
Casper's always spot on. I love Casper. Casper and Luis, Booby, West, they're all amazing.
Oh, yes. So now Jose and Salida are going to go against Casper and Luis. I remember at that point, Jose hugs Salida, and Salida's like cringing. She's like, oh my god, get the fuck off of me, and shit like that.
Don't touch me.
It's funny, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? You're just being a terrible teammate right now. Like you don't want anything to do with him. You wanted to kick him out beforehand. When the lines were stars versus champs, but when push come to shove politically, she was still like, Jose, fuck you, get out of here, and shit like that. So,
and she didn't want to be partners with him. It was just like the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, it wasn't her choice. Yeah.
They just got stuck together. And I think basically at that moment she realized, well, my time in this game is basically numbered.
Shane, who previously got the MVP nomination at the end of the last episode, he's like, what is the power play here? Like he is just like, oh my god, I am MVP, tell me. And Miz just says it's advantage, but it's not going to be used now. So right away Shane is still like chomping and just like, what the fuck is going to happen?
She loves power, and the fact that he's MVP is just any type of power he gets to go straight to his head.
Yeah. Well, right now I don't.
He just craves it. He loves it. I don't know. Like he's already up in his head enough.
Okay.
He doesn't need any help.
I read it as genuinely anxious. I feel like he lives and dies on these challenges like Bananas does, where he really does feel like, what is the next twist? Because I've orchestrated my entire life and being to like trying to survive these fucking couple days with these people. You know what I mean? Like I want to win and shit. So I believe it when Shane seems stressed out. I believe it.
I mean, he's at his heart, he's totally a competitor.
Yeah.
It's really, his focus is on the game. And part of that game is that political side and that drama side where he likes to get in people's heads. He likes to manipulate things. He's very well-rounded. As we saw, like when he was swimming, he's like a goddamn dolphin.
Yeah. That was sweet. Okay, so afterwards, Booby made his decision. Lil Mama yells at Booby a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Booby says, I want to create good stars team, and Jose and Salida suck.
Yeah. You can't argue with that.
Well, I can't argue with the fact that they suck, but the fact that he's like, I want to create a great stars team, I'm like, I don't think that at the final they're going to go into stars again. You know what I mean? I just think some sort of fucking weird pride to be called a star when you were working with the champs the entire time is really fucking bizarre to me. You know what I mean? The fact that he wants to take his friends to the end to create a good stars team, or you know what I mean? Like it's fucking weird. I don't think it matters because he could win with Wes, and that's not a stars. That's a win for both champs and stars. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's just you have to be aware of how MTV kind of produces these challenges. You never know what the final is going to look like. Is it just going to be 3 teams of 2? Or are they going to split it up versus champs versus stars? Like, they could do either. Even this, because first it was champs versus stars, then it was red team, blue team, now it was partners. Like this season, it's only been like 6 episodes or 8 episodes or something like that, and they've chopped it up into these weird different pairings. For the final, they could just be like whatever we see next week, we don't know what's going to happen. It could just be, hey, everyone's on their own. The top, 6 people who finish in this race will go to the final. The last 2 are not going.
That's very true.
And the final could just be champs versus stars, and it could be uneven. It could be, 6 champs versus 4 stars or something.
Yeah, because now I think about it, they keep talking about the leaderboard because after, like, spoilers, after Louise and Casper.
Chance?
that's a chance, whatever. It's a callback to a conversation where Dave could not remember Casper's name. He just kept on calling him Chase.
Well, I knew it was like a dog's name.
Casper? No, Casper is a ghost name.
Yeah, but you could call your dog Casper if he was white.
Or if he died.
Or if he was friendly. He's a friendly ghost, friendly dog.
No. Let's get into the elimination, right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Elimination is Flip Cup. This is actually kind of cool in a way.
Yeah.
It's cool, but it comes out of nowhere because it's not like there's an alcohol theme at all in this thing. Like, it's not like they're drinking all the time in the season. You know what I mean?
The weird thing for me was the fact that they did Tippy Cup or Flip Cup, and they didn't have any liquid in the cup. Like, I get that you're not going to have them chug beer, but, like, eating weird shit is part of the challenge, so why didn't you put, like, some weird thing that they had to drink? Some, where they just, like, have some, like, rotten cheese or something in there.
It's true.
Or some kind of funky thing.
Yeah, they were empty cups. That's right.
Yeah.
Empty solo cups, right? Where they sell them.
Yeah. You could have just, like, blended a bunch of beetles and worms into a fucking blender, make a smoothie out of them, and, okay, we filled it up, and there's, like, 6 ounces in each cup. You gotta slam it. It would have added a little something. Instead, they're just empty cups. So that's my gripe with it. Other than that, I love Tippy Cup. It's pretty awesome. And then
Or
they had
Flippy Cup. It depends on... It's not like a West Coast, East Coast thing. Like, what's the difference between Tippy and Flippy?
Flippy sounds like Flipper, like a dolphin. It's a little more...
Tippy is like tipsy, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I always called it Tippy Cup when we played. And now people call it Flip Cup.
Really? That's slowly winning over everyone? Like, it's Flip Cup now? It's out,
I guess. I don't know. I don't really play that game anymore.
Wow. That's like how the
I'm
Canadians...
a lot like Casper. I don't play drinking games.
He doesn't drink.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, you look at... Like, he's a professional dancer, man. You know what I mean? Makes sense.
Is that what he's a star for? I remember him saying he was a dancer or something, like, right before the Twister thing.
He was a choreographer, dancer or whatever for J-Lo, and they ended up hooking up and dating and shit like that. Yeah.
Damn, fist bump for Casper.
What?
Nice.
That's why Shane was like, at least I'm famous in my own right. I didn't fuck someone famous.
I didn't know what he was talking about. That was so over my head when he said that. Now I know.
Oh, really? You
sense.
didn't know that? Wow.
Wow.
What stuck out for me was like, dude, you're not famous in your own right. You're MTV famous, maybe. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it's not the same fucking thing. That's like saying, I am Wisconsin's skinny. You know? Anyways, let's get into the elimination. It's going to be Salida and Jose versus Louise and Casper. Jose showing up in war paint, or more like lipstick. Just lipstick.
Yeah. What? I don't even understand that.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Like, he didn't even, like, mention it himself. They had, like, Salida say, like, yeah, he said he was going to wear some makeup, so I put some lipstick on him. Or she said something. But Jose never actually even mentioned it himself, like, why he was wearing it.
I don't know. I didn't care. Whatever. You know, like, what is it called? Eye black? He put on her.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
That was his version of eye black.
Yeah, wearing the red lipstick. I don't know. Jose's a weird dude.
He's very weird.
It's in, like, basically every facet of everything. He's a weird guy.
Yeah. Okay, so they're gonna go against Louise and Casper. Giant fucking cups. So okay, you flip the there's no liquid in the cups. You flip the 3 each, right? 3 apiece.
Yep.
Then you go into these giant fucking heavy ass cups and have to flip them two and a half times, something like that.
Two and a half or three times to get the one end, and then you gotta push it back and do it again.
Which this thing was heavy again. Like you'll see everyone struggle with this thing, which to me was actually kind of cool. I kind of like that. I kind of like the fact that because like Shane and Jose and Salida, they're not going to do that bad against them. You know, they're they're all going to have to fucking summon some strength in this thing, which is what you want to see. But the first people to get all their cups flipped were Louise and Casper. Casper doesn't even drink, but he's that talented. He's a natural challenger. He knows how to flip cups without ever playing.
You can take direction. They're just like less is more. It's nice and easy.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome. So, what do I have here? It's a very tight race. The best part was Louise was pushing on the bottom of the cup while Jose...
Yeah, she's trying to like deadlift it up or whatever.
Jose. Casper is hanging on to the
outside
the
rim and he's pulling it back with his
while
weight.
Falling down.
And then like at the last second he pulls his arms down so they don't get crushed. I kept looking at their feet and their hands because if one of those giant cups were to come down, they would break your bones and crush you.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So they ended up winning. It was no surprise, although really, Salida and Jose were very fucking close.
Yeah, see, I'm confused at how heavy those cups were because we see Salida, who's like all of 105 pounds, be able to do it herself. So I'm like, was it really that heavy? I don't know. Because it's weird, because we also saw like Casper struggling to do it.
Everyone struggled though. Really?
But they were still able to do it. I don't know. I feel like Casper would be way stronger than Salida. But they were both able to do it. I don't know.
I don't know. But they win. Goodbye, Salida and Jose. And really, it's weird. For me, Salida did a lot more complaining than anything else. She disapproved of certain things. She called out people for bullshit, but for the most part, she didn't like things. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think she liked things.
Things were not to her standards.
For the last couple episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since like that hockey game where she was yelling at Jose, from that point on, she was annoyed at Jose, and then like the next episode, she ends up getting picked and partnered with him. And then now she's with him as a partner. So for the last couple episodes, she's been upset because of that. But like before then, the entire season, I've really liked Salida.
There were certain diva moments with her that kept popping up here and there, where I'm like, God, I don't know. Is she great to look at? Of course, Jesus Christ. But there's certain entitlements which I would consider would come from a champ. You know what I mean? Like the stars are always saying like, oh, the champs, like they flip out if things aren't going their way. But she was kind of in a similar zone for me.
A little bit. But yeah. I still saw enough stuff that I liked. And I don't think she was ever over the top with any of her complaining. I think it was all pretty legit and she had a reason for it.
She wasn't the greatest, fighter for the star side either, though. You know what I mean? Like when they needed to be united and vote in a champ, she was still like, fuck you, Jose, you go in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I kind of agree with her on that.
All right. Well, let's get into wait, Jose's gone.
Yep.
Yeah. What you got to say?
Well, apparently he's going to be back on next season. Yeah. The Final Reckoning.
Yep.
Which is confusing as hell because out of all of the stars on this season, like, why is it Jose and Jose only showing up on the Final Reckoning? Because Jose was like one of the worst competitors, it seems like.
Yeah. No. What happened is he's actually from Big Brother, and instead of going from Big Brother to the regular season like Natalie did, remember Natalie?
Yep.
They, for some reason, I'm guessing a star just didn't show up. That star was probably think of it. Roseanne. There you go. Roseanne. But
I think she was a little out of the age range. But
she...
Chad Ochocinco was supposed to be there.
She tweeted some racist shit, so they're like, cut her out. I realized that the season was filmed
Yeah.
months before that happened, but still.
Roseanne wasn't funny to begin with.
I like the show.
Really? I liked John Goodman.
Not the new show, but the old show.
The old show, I liked John Goodman a lot. And then Roseanne would come in and just start yelling. And I'm like, how do I need to listen to a mom yell at people? Is this entertaining? No.
Okay. You're clearly not a fan of Malcolm in the Middle, because that's all that was.
That was the worst part of the show. When it was just Hal, it was brilliant.
All right. Anyways, let's get on to the mission of the episode. Spot on. It's basically Twister, but like between climbing walls.
Yeah, like
I thought it was brilliant.
This was amazing. When they first showed it, they showed like the spinning wheel. You know, where it's like right hand, left foot, right foot, left hand, and all the different colors. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna play a game of Twister. This is great. And then they show the little rock climbing wall with all the pegs on there you gotta hold on to that are colored. And I'm like, holy shit, this is brilliant. How have we not seen this before? It's like one of those just like mastermind things where I'm like, oh, I'm almost like disappointed that we're seeing it now for the first time. Like, we should have been enjoying this for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Such a good idea.
That's what impresses me for this challenge. You know, occasionally, you know, they'll recycle some ideas and shit, but they'll come up with an idea so brilliant where I'm like, oh my God, like I bow to you guys. Like, you guys are so great for coming up with this, or at least a twist on an old formula. You know what I mean? Like, if they did a remix of Twister, it could have been like, oh, but the floor is lubed. You know what I mean? So it's extra hard. But this was just brilliance, you know? It was fucking crazy. You had to be a contortionist, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it. Shane is the MVP, so he gets the advantage. It's remove 3 cleats from everyone. Anyone. I mean, anyone. Yeah.
And when I looked at it, I was like 3. I'm like, there's 6 in every row, right? Or was there 5 or 7? I don't remember. But like, it was, when I looked at it, I was like 3, and you're only going to do 3 from like one side, but it was only like half of them. It didn't seem like it was enough to be an advantage. And that is honestly, that was my take when I was watching it at the beginning. Like, before even the players were climbed up there. I'm just like, there's still way more pegs. There was like another 3 or 4 of that same color. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And then as we see it play out, it didn't really have an effect at all.
Yeah, he gives it directly to Louise and Casper.
Yeah, the team he's been feuding with forever.
And the rules going into this, it's bottom 3 teams are on the chopping block. Would you say that this is basically our version of the Purge?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is.
Because we're going to lose 4 people. You know, 2 teams.
2 teams of 2.
Okay, so it starts off. These are just simple little notes that I've written down. The first thing I have written down is that CT farts in Tony's face.
Yeah. I mean, that's to be expected, right? Because they're 2 big dudes. And they're like, okay, we're going to be pretty cramped here.
Is it expected for him to fart in his face?
I'm not surprised. Because it's one of those things, like, anybody who's, like, when you work out in the gym, like, you're farting a lot when you're at the gym. Because anytime, it happens. Because anytime you're lifting weights or you're holding yourself on a wall, you're tensing all of your muscles. And you're tensing your ab muscles. And when you really flex your ab muscles, those are the same ab muscles you're flexing when you're taking a shit. So you're going to push out a fart, and it's going to be accidental. You're flexing those abs, and, you know, something shoots out. Like, Tony, if he was smart, he would have taken the front seat and put CT in the back seat behind him. Come on.
But Tony would have farted in the same... Yes, then Tony would have farted.
Well,
right?
There you go. But then at least you're the farty and not the farted on.
But that's where comes CT's veteran wisdom, right? He's like, no, you got to be in the fucking front. You know, you never know when you're going to break
Exactly.
in,
He knew there was going to be farts flying. He's like, I'm going to be in the power position here.
All right. So anyways, the first person to fall, though, is Brooke, out of Brooke and Shane. that sucks. I'm a big fan of Brooke personally, but
Yeah, she's great.
she's the first one to fall.
Yeah,
That's very
that sucks.
disappointing.
I was hoping she would have done better.
That sucks. Second is Tori.
Yeah.
Tori has just gone downhill this season. She really has. If you think about it. No? You haven't noticed that?
Well,
She's been underperforming. She's been getting DQs or whatever, and she's been
that
sidelined.
is true. But last week we saw her in that bathing suit underwater, and that is a scene I will never forget. And all is forgiven because of that bathing suit.
No,
I love Tori.
Listen, the bathing suit sequence was amazing. We're like, oh fuck yeah, Tori. But overall, if you put hardness aside, she's been underperforming, especially in comparison to her Dirty 30 premiere. Her, although she kind of sucked in her Champs versus Stars 1 performance.
Well,
her
she was
appearance.
just a replacement, wasn't she?
Still though, she was just kind of, she was still winning, but she was on a championship team, but she wasn't doing the best.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess as a performer, she probably hasn't lived up to kind of what we expect. But, she's so entertaining and likable as a personality.
Yeah.
That, she has such great personality.
You're not telling
And,
me. I've been a fan before
and,
you. Stop.
Her
You're not
and
a
Little
fan,
Mama
I'm a
as
fan.
a team, it's amazing. She's coaching her up. She's being positive. She's it was her last week in that swimming challenge. She was so great. Even, bathing suit aside.
That
but,
booty. That booty.
But
Oh
just
my God,
the way
it was
she
amazing.
is as a teammate, she's so positive
Yeah,
all the time.
that's
She's
true.
great. So even if she underperforms, if she falls, on this Twister challenge thing, I mean, this type of thing where you're trying to hold yourself against a wall, it works in the advantage of a couple different types of people.
Smaller people?
Yeah, if you're small and skinny, you're holding up less weight. So out of the girls, Brooke and Tori probably weigh the most, and they were the first ones out. For the guys, I'm not even sure the order that they went out.
I can
But
tell
I know
you
CT
if you let me
and Tony.
continue.
Okay, well there you go. It will be the people who weigh the most.
Okay, all right. Let's test that. Let's test
Yeah,
that with
let's look
this.
at it.
Next is Drake and Kayla
Yep.
at the same time. Both. That whole team is out.
Well, Kayla's a little bit of a joke artist, as people have said on Twitter. She does seem to underperform a little bit. I
remember
Kayla's personality at times.
I remember she was reaching for the peg or whatever it's called, the cleat.
Yeah.
Cleat. She was reaching for the cleat, and Miz is like, "You gotta touch the cleat," and Kayla's like, "I know." Like right away, I was like, Jesus Christ, she's so bitchy sometimes and uncool. You know what I mean?
She's not cool under pressure.
She isn't. And then she also flaunts this alliance that she has with the champs, but really, it's because those were the rules that were established. The champs were like, we're gonna stay together and shit. But had they not, would they keep Kayla around? I doubt it.
No, if it was just a regular challenge where everyone was just a person out of the challenge and there wasn't a team like that,
Yeah.
they have no alliance with her and they wouldn't really give a shit.
Okay, but let's discuss Drake. He's third to fall. Well, him
You've
and
seen
Kayla.
his six pack, right? He's carrying too much mass.
6-pack. Hold on. There you go. Yeah,
Let me
I was
catch
like,
up.
I can't
If
chug.
you're just gonna drink half of your beer, Casper doesn't approve.
You mean Chase? All right. The fourth person to fall was Lil Mama. She was left. She did good though.
Yeah, she was doing the fucking splits up there.
Yeah, and she's tiny. She really had to stretch out
Yeah,
to make
she's
it.
so short. She's completely stretched out.
And you know what? She outlasted Tori. But you say it was because Tori was heavier and shit. God bless her.
Yeah, but Tori's
whole
heavier,
lot
but
of
she
woman.
is longer.
Yeah. But I was proud of Lil Mama.
Yeah, Little Mama's always great. She gives it 110%, Even though she has some, size limitations, still a hell of a competitor.
Next we have Tony, which I found shocking because Tony's fucking a badass. he's a goddamn jock, but he fell first. He fell before CT. CT rocking the goddamn dad bod. Was it the fart?
No. I think I don't remember exactly what it was that started this off during this competition. But at one point, one of the competitors falls off into the water. And then The Miz starts doing play-by-play on the microphone saying, so-and-so fell in the water. And then somebody else fell, and then The Miz is not spinning the wheel. He just starts to filibuster because he realized the position that they're in is very difficult, and he just starts to wait and just lets people fall. He wants to see how long they can hold it. So for that middle portion of the challenge, The Miz is just doing play-by-play, and the competitors start yelling out. They're like, "Hey, come on, let's go, spin it!" And The Miz is not spinning it. He's just letting them drop like flies. And I think it was right in this part there. And I think some of the people were just like, "Fuck this shit! They're just gonna make us hang here."
Oh my god, I do remember that. Yeah, there were moments where like when Kayla yelled at at The Miz.
I think that was the start of it.
Maybe that's what it was.
I think that was the start of it, and then the next few people who fell off after that, it was just The Miz kind of waiting and letting them fall off because he knew they were in a tough spot. And if you spin it, it could be like, oh, put your left hand on red, relief. And then suddenly you're like, oh, okay, I can put my foot here or my hand here, and that'll be an easier position.
Next to fall is Shane. Shane was he lost his partner Brooke. Brooke was the first to fall, and then Shane falls. But I remember Shane does say, "I am the most flexible person here." Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah. And we could see him there. They showed a shot of him where his legs are spread apart, and it looked like a completely natural position for him. Pun intended. But yeah, he's very flexible, and he was doing it fine. I was kind of surprised. I figured Shane would probably be one of the last guys up there.
Next. Actually, once Shane falls, that means we have the bottom three. It's Brooke and Shane, Tori and Little Mama, and Drake and Kayla.
Yep.
So as soon as The Miz says that, Wes
just climbs up to the top and then goes down the ladder on the side to avoid the water.
Yeah. At first, Booby's like, I'm pissed, but at the same time, he's like, well, I got more space, more cleats to work with and stuff. But that's Booby to a T. You know what I mean? Booby, he wants to get mad, but it's like,
that's exactly Booby to a T because Wes is calling the shots. Wes does whatever the fuck he wants, and then Booby just kind of accepts it. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe he's right. Maybe this is the best thing for me. He's always Mr. Brightside. Booby is just he's always positive. He's
Wes has said, he's like, I happen to have a great athlete as a partner, and he happens to be enamored with my political gameplay. Yeah. He's a fan. So it's
great. It's brains and brawn. You have an NBA player, and then you have the challenge master, political master in Wes, together. It's amazing. So as long Booby, kudos to him because he's such a great athlete. He's kept his own ego in check. And maybe that's because he used to play with LeBron James, the biggest ego ever, right? So he knows how to play that secondary role player and, do the best of his abilities while he lets somebody else have the big ego, but he knows that's best for the team.
That's true.
Basketball is the ultimate team sport,
Well, you do have those, the divas or whatever, so to speak, that always get to make the shots. Or especially the slam dunks or whatever. But I remember I watched.
It's so dorky. The slam dunks, is that what they call them?
But the thing is, watching the season, I'm like, oh my god, I love Booby. I want to squeeze it, and I want to watch a compilation of Booby. So, 13 hours later, I finally came across Daniel Booby Gibson highlights, and he made a lot of 3-point shots. Yeah, which means doesn't that automatically equal you're a team player, right? Because if you're not, you're fucking driving up there doing the slam dunks.
Yeah. I believe he was a point guard, right?
I have no idea.
I think he was a point guard, and the point guard's job is to bring the ball up the court and then to pass the ball to your teammates. You let them. You just want to create openings for your teammates.
There was a lot of passing, a lot of awesome passing in that highlight.
That's all point guards, and that's what Booby is.
Okay.
Is he is in control, and his job is to make the people around him look better. So he's just trying to enable the people around him to work to the best of their abilities.
But he was also an amazing 3-point shooter. Like,
oh yeah, he's a great shooter.
And
that makes you a starter.
Isn't that overall like way better than because isn't the slam dunk like 1 point?
No, it's 2 points.
2 points. Well, hold on. Okay, sorry.
Oh
I've only watched Space Jam. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
So a slam dunk is 2 points. An outside shot is 3 points.
Yes.
That's the only thing you could get ever?
Well, there's a free throw. Like if you get fouled, you get 2 free throws from the free throw line.
Okay.
Those are worth 1 point apiece.
Okay. So in the end, I'm still right. Like, it's better to be shooting from the outside than to have the ball slam dunk, right?
You do get more points for 3-pointers, but statistically speaking, it's a lower percentage shot because you're further away.
Oh, okay.
You're less likely to make it.
All right.
So you will, if you're a team and you make tons of 3-pointers, you'll do great and you'll win games. But if you have if you're relying on those threes, you have one game where you're off and you're missing your shots, you can't make that 3-pointer work, you're going to lose the game. That happens a lot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. There's teams that are designed around the 3-point shot, and when that shot isn't falling, they're going to end up losing.
I've only seen Space Jam and Teen Wolf, really.
Wow. That's it?
When it comes to basketball shit, yeah.
Wow, Space Jam was pretty epic.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Celtic Pride.
Celtic Pride?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
Dan Aykroyd.
In a basketball movie?
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird was in it?
Well, a cameo. David
Didn't
Wayans.
Larry Bird cameo in Space Jam as well?
He did. Larry's not white. Larry's clear. Anyways, let's get back on fucking track. Holy shit.
Okay, so Wes leaves because he's like, hey, we're in the top 3.
I can't believe how far off we got from just Wes getting up and Booby staying there. Oh my god. All right. And then after that, CT is like, how many fucking teams are there? And Miz is like, 3. He's like, okay, fuck this. So he leaves as well,
Doesn't he jump down in the water?
Yeah, but Tony already fell.
Yeah.
Tony already fell, and that's the big difference, I feel, between Wes and CT quitting. Both is kind of disappointing in a way. Like, you get it, you understand it, but, do you respect it? Or do you like it?
The thing is,
you know what I mean?
you still want to get the win because that's going to give you a power play advantage.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, you want your team to have that. And if you have Chase or Casper and Louise, and both of their team, both of them are still hanging on there, you still need to hang in there because you don't want them to have the power play. Because if Luis and Casper have the power play, they're either going to go after Wes and Booby or Tony and CT. One of those two teams.
CT was the remaining person of his team, and he quit,
Yep. And he jumped in the water, and I just thought it was kind of funny because everyone who was quitting, they were all jumping in the water. Wes was the only one who was, flexible enough or whatever to climb up it and then, go down the side on a ladder in order to get off and not be wet and soaking wet, which worked to his advantage because later, when they're all done and standing there, they're all shivering, freezing fucking cold in hoodies.
That's funny. Yeah, it's totally true. All right, so after CT falls, Louise cheats, right? Didn't we see her cheat? It showed the video of her moving her foot from was it red to blue or blue to red or something like that?
Yeah, she lost her balance and she moved her foot off of blue to red, I think it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and but she wasn't gonna say anything because no one was saying anything to her,
But Shane saw that, right?
Yeah.
He was just like, when did right foot become blue instead of red or something like that,
he was
right?
looking at Casper's foot and then Louise's foot, and they were on different colors.
Oh shit!
And
yeah,
caught him in the lie. And I'm sure she was aware when it happened, but you know what? She's trying to win it, and sometimes hey, if you're playing football and you accidentally grab another guy's face mask and it's a penalty, you're not going to turn to the ref and be like, I committed a foul. You'd be like, hey, if they saw it, they saw it. If not, I'm just going to hold on here and see how far we can go with it.
But Shane is not going to let this rest.
He starts freaking out.
Freaking out.
Absolutely freaking out. And then other people start freaking out as well. And then, like, we even see, like, production people are, like, running around. And they seem, like, very confused. And it was like, you guys not fucking watching this? Like, you guys came up with the game. Did you not think that you needed to look and see where their hands were supposed to be?
Yeah, because, like, every single time you saw someone move, they were like, oh, you're out.
Yeah.
So where the fuck were they at that instance?
The whole thing is, you got to put your hand on one of the cleats. And then if your hand just comes off for a second, then you're out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And her foot comes off. Not only does it come off, but it moves. And then it sits somewhere else.
Yes.
They just don't even say anything. I don't know. I feel like the production was going to let it go, but then Shane had to be like the spoiler and be like, hey, he's calling them out. And they're like, wow, I don't know. And then they finally had to fess up like, okay, yeah, we'll take her out.
Even Louise was like, okay, I cheated, but Casper didn't, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she's out of it. And this is when Casper's like, shut up, you loser. You're just fucking pissed because whatever, you know? And that's when Shane is like, at least I'm famous in my own right. Not because I fucked someone famous or whatever, but I'm like, you're not famous, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
You're not famous.
Well, he thinks because he has, like 50,000 followers on Twitter, that makes him famous. It's like, no, you're just on some reality
just
show on
because
MTV.
Dave follows you doesn't make you famous, right?
I do follow him, but I did follow him. I think I might have unfollowed him.
Yeah?
Yeah, he posts some weird shit sometimes.
All right, so finally it's between Booby and Casper, and we think about physicality.
Yeah.
They're both in amazing shape, but Casper is smaller, more compact. Booby is
longer and leaner.
Yeah. So eventually, Booby can't make it. I think he just lets a foot go just to, he can't take the pain. I mean, this looks very painful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're flexing your arms and your legs the entire time. And at this point, when they're down to the last two, they've probably been doing it for, 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Like, that's got to be excruciating.
Oh, yeah. Especially
I was surprised, though. I really thought Booby was going to win it.
Yeah, but...
Just the fact that he's taller, I thought that would give him such an advantage.
Just wait, I guess. This better be the lighter
But I think the Miz spun the wheel, and then they had to move one last time, and then when they kind of moved to the next one, they kind of both got there, but Booby just couldn't quite hold on to it.
Yeah. So Casper wins. He gets actually MVP. Louise is like, well, it's because he actually won the thing. That's why he gets MVP.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
He gets the power play, which is eliminate. So the bottom three teams is Shane and Brooke, Tori and Lil Mama, and Drake and Kayla.
And they get to eliminate 4 of those 6 people.
Yes.
It's crazy.
They're asked to state your case on why you should be saved or whatever.
Make a little statement. Yeah. Suck up. Ooh, try and save your own ass.
Shane, he didn't really say anything. He's like, hey, I'm sorry I yell. And
he's like, I'm just passionate about the game or something like that.
I'm just passionate.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, Shane, this was a little too late, because Shane is like totally into drama. And he was freaking out. And yes, he was right. They cheated and they were going against the rules. But Shane takes it to another level all the time.
Yeah.
He can't just keep it at a rational level. He has to freak out about it and kind of make a scene.
So
and Casper kind of comes back to bite him in the ass 10 minutes later.
Casper says, he's like, you know what, Brooke? You're guilty by association. And I, what does he say? He's like, I know what Shane's intentions are. You know what I mean? Because Brooke does say oh, you don't think too far in front of your face or whatever, or in front of your nose, something like that. But really, it's no, you wouldn't want you and the two of you in the final, because you two are very good competitors. You really are. So it should be a compliment. I feel like Brooke, I really like her, and I feel like when she left, she felt like she was being cheated on, but really she should feel like, no, you were cut because you were a good team. You really were.
Exactly. Yeah. There are certain teams that will make it on because they're layups, and there are certain teams that get sent home because they're a threat.
Oh, speaking of, Tori and Lil Mama, they're like, this is your friendly layup team.
Yeah, come on. Right?
Lil Mama, she just does the...
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. Mike Jackson was doing that at the weigh-ins today.
Was he?
Yeah, there's that CM Punk Mike Jackson fight, and Mike Jackson was doing it at the weigh-ins. I don't know what it is. They do like an X.
Anyways, he's trying to say, like, hey, man, we're stars, right?
Yeah. Is that a Malcolm X thing? Is that what the X is? I don't know.
It could have been.
Who knows?
More like a Malcolm in the Middle, right?
Big fan of Malcolm, eh?
Eh? But she's like, hey, this signal means I'm part of the Stars. But who was more part of the Stars team was Drake, of Drake and Kayla.
Yeah. And I think the reason for that is because of Booby sending in Jose and Salida, that was getting rid of some of the weaker star competitors. And then at this point, it was Drake versus Lil Mama. And they wanted to keep the stronger of those two who could help them in a final more. Or at least in the next mission, whatever it is next week. You want your alliance, you want another stronger team. And out of the two teams, Kayla and Drake is probably a stronger team than Tori and Lil Mama. So that's why Casper wanted to keep Drake. And Casper says it's just because they're loyal, they're friends, and that's part of it, but it's also because he views them as a stronger team.
I honestly felt like he was telling the truth. He was like, listen, it came down to the fact that Lil Mama was on the red team the whole time, supportive of the Stars and the cause, but Drake was in the trenches with the blue team, with Casper, and Louise, like they really did form a more solid bond. So I do believe it when he says it just comes down to the fact that you guys were on different teams this whole time. Like, I love you, Lil Mama, but like Drake did way more immediately for me and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I wanted Tori and Lil Mama to be spared because fuck Kayla. Not fuck Kayla. That's a little too hard.
I like Lil Mama and I like Tori more than I like Kayla.
Yes, even though I like Drake. But I just don't like Kayla.
I like Drake. He's fine. I'm not like enamored with him. I like Casper more than I like Drake.
Yeah. But he makes the decision. Tori and Lil Mama have to go. And you know what? They're out of here. Lil Mama, she was very impressive. I liked her.
She was so gracious.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many challengers that could take some goddamn notes from Lil Mama. Lil Mama takes this, like, she could have been upset and whiny and freaking out the way that competitors, challengers like Anissa or Cara Maria would have just spazzed out and be like, oh, you shouldn't send me home, and like get all butthurt in a way like Camilla would do that and shit. Lil Mama's just like, you know what, that's alright. Like, I have a great time, and she was so freaking gracious. I loved it. It's so impressive. Like, the way Lil Mama acts all the time is impressive. Like, no matter what, whether it's a high or a low, she's very level-headed, she's smart. I don't know, she's so mature and wise. Lil Mama's great.
All I have to say is that this was episode 8, and I was told that this was going to be an 8-week event. So I thought this was going to be the final when I watched it.
Oh, shit.
So, is it going to be 9 episodes long? 10 episodes long? What's happening here?
I don't know.
Because
I'm guessing maybe next episode, it could just be like right in the beginning. They might just do like a quick little mission, eliminate one team, and then we have a final. And that's... Well, I think it'll probably be 2 episodes, because if there is a final, they'll split that shit up over 2 episodes, right? Or maybe it won't be long enough.
They never split the final of a miniseries so far. So we
might just have 1 episode left. I have no idea.
It's just crazy, because I went in there thinking like, okay, 8 episodes, that's fine. But they're expanding their miniseries. It went from 6 to 8 to possibly 9 or 10.
Yeah, it went from a mini series to a medium series.
Because last time when Champs vs. Stars 1 ended, the same week, that's when Vendettas premiered, right? Mm-hmm. So there was just this constant challenge every week.
Yeah, I hope I hope they draw it out till July when the next season
July
starts.
10th?
July 10th, yeah.
July 10th. All right. Well, anyways, this was Battle of the Challenges podcast. Like, subscribe, comment with Vincent Cloud.
And Hardcore Dave.